We are the daughters of the late veteran politician from Ukpanah local government area who was brutally murdered on the 12th of March 2014 by yet to be identified men of the underground, late engineer Albert Ukpanah, and sisters to Odudu Ukpanah, who has been unlawfully detained by the government of Akpabio state on trumped-up charges that he killed our father. We recently watched a video by Governor Akpabio giving a vivid account of how our dad was killed by trying so hard to tie our brother to the crime with his false allegations. As a lawyer, he has clearly contravened the provisions of Section 36(5) of the Constitution with regards to persons who are standing trial in a criminal case, who are to be presumed innocent until proven guilty in a competent court of law. By stressing those allegations in the presence of the newly appointed Attorney General, Barrister Nwoko, we are worried our brother would not get a fair hearing in court. In normal situations, considering the fact that the matter is already in court, he didn't have said anything. But we are, however, compelled, albeit reluctantly, to reply as follows. On the allegations that our brother walked coolly to inform the neighbors after seeing our dad in a pool of his blood, I would like to ask the governor to tell the world where he stood to see our brother's actions on the said night. He clearly has a video showing all of that, otherwise he wouldn't have been so accurate or so confident in making that statement. For emphasis sake, I would like to stress this, that neighbors, including the PW1, who gave evidence in open court on December 15, 2014, as well as passers-by who were returning from various viewing centers after the match, heard Odudu scream and came in to assist our dad into the car and taken to the hospital. Our neighbor in open court said Odudu ran to his house shouting for help. So whosoever is saying otherwise should enter the witness box and give eyewitness evidence for the prosecution. It is important to state that political meetings were not earlier in our house, and this wouldn't have been the first. On not making report to the police until 4 days after, our dad was murdered on the 12th of March 2014 at about 11 p.m. Odudu only returned from the hospital about 2 a.m. on the 13th of March 2014. Reported the matter at the Abak Divisional Police Station where the incident took place that morning. Officers from Abak took pictures of the deceased and the stains of blood at the place of murder, and also carried away the empty can of stout and Remy Martins our dad served his guests that night. The police investigation report dated 25th March 2014 and signed by IPO Sergeant Ibe Namdi acknowledged that the case was taken over from the Abak Division Police by the State Police Command on the 17th of March 2014. Is it the days between the 13th to the 17th that the governor considered as being 4 days before Odudu reported to the police? Was reporting to Abak Police not sufficient proof that Odudu had carried out his duties to the deceased? Is Abak Station not a recognized police station in Nigeria?
On breaking of the deceased's bedroom, Odudu didn't break any door. The said door was opened and not broken into. After all, we are not thieves. The house belongs to us. The door was opened by a carpenter at about 4 p.m. on the 13th of March 2014, after I and my brother returned from Rumako Funeral Home, where our father's corpse was deposited for embalmment. It was actually opened after I decided that my brother should not stay in the house for a while, but should come over to my place at Eket. And Aunt even suggested that since we will be away from the house, it would be appropriate to take out things that we considered important. And this was done in the presence of lots of people. Myself and the carpenter also gave our statements at the police station. Can we know why these statements were discarded? On breaking of the car, Governor Akpabio, was Odudu a thief that he had to break into cars in his own father's house? Could you produce a video showing that any of our father's cars were broken into? The cars at home on that day were a Toyota Yaris, which Dad had given to Odudu, a Honda City, which Dad drove out, and a Hilux. All the cars were in very good condition after Dad was murdered. So we do not understand what informed Governor Akpabio to make such false allegations against our brother.
On the issue of washing the blood, Governor Akpabio mentioned that our brother was the one that washed off the blood. The blood on the ground as a result of the violent murder of our dad was actually washed off by our security man. That is because people thronged in at about 7 a.m. and suggested he clean the blood off. Odudu never instructed him to. He gave a statement at the police station. The man is an illiterate and never knew the evidential value of what he did. Why is everybody turning a blind eye to the statements that he has written? What is the purpose of Governor Akpabio trying to tie a guilty verdict over our brother by asking the crucial piece of statement to be discarded? Governor Akpabio also mentioned that bleach was used to clean the floor. How did he even know that such a chemical was used? Was it at the crime scene? Is he an eyewitness? Did he have any witness at that point when the blood was being cleaned up by our security man? So how come he knows that the blood was cleaned up by Odudu and with bleach? It's very suspicious. Can you tell the world how come you know about this? How were you well informed that bleach was used by the security man or by Odudu to clean the blood? On our dad not dying as a result of strangulation, can a person that is strangled shout? Can a person that is strangled scream? How did he even know that our dad was strangled and strangulation failed? Odudu was right in the parlor, so how could he have heard what happened? So in this case, we would like to know if he knows the people that committed this act, or if he was at the crime scene, or if he has a video recorded for him to show that the strangulation failed. Because in the police report, it doesn't state in any way or at any point that there was a failed attempt of strangulation. On that fateful day, our dad called Odudu when he got back home that evening. But Governor Akpabio mentioned that after forensic, they realized Odudu was the one that called dad. Questions to him. Is there a detailed call log from the telephone company showing this? Did he call dad to get home to be murdered when he knew he would still return to the same house? In my house, we usually call when we get back home after 7 p.m., being that the security man would have closed, since he closes at that time. That is because anyone in the house will not hear the horn of a car or a knock on the gate because our generator is very noisy.
We have those questions for the governor. Why is there so much violence in your regime? You have a list of lots of children killing their parents and wives killing their husbands. Are you trying to tell us you love our father more than us? When you visited our house during the condolence visit 3 days before my dad's burial, did you come at the very hour the incident happened? Did you sit where our daddy sat with the generator on? Was the television set on with you right inside the sitting room watching a match and your aides outside to determine if they would hear anything? So, you are trying to tell us that Odudu should not have carried our father to the hospital when it wasn't ascertained that he was dead upon seeing his own father in his pool of blood. Is there any prompt 911 service in Nigeria to enable people in difficult situations call during times of need? All those are questions for the governor, and we need him to give answers to those questions.
We would like the world to know that this difficult situation that we found ourselves with our dad's death, and to put a closure to it 1 year after our dad was murdered. The fact that our mom is also very ill has not helped any situation at all. And also, we've been unable to give the maximum love which a cancer person should be given at this time because of all the things trauma that we are going through at the moment. Finally, on your statement that since the family is asking for his release, that Odudu will be relieved, we take exception to you saying that Odudu will be released so that he will continue his killing. Our brother is not a murderer, neither is he a violent person, and we are greatly offended and demand an apology. Our brother is innocent, he is not a violent person, and he has no record of violence. So, we the sisters are demanding unconditionally,
release Odudu Ukpanah.